가서 주시 단다 다시 비랑신 유예제를 되는데 다 두세 년이 매였더니 다 낭제 나 가서 낭배 슌체 네 중요해 되니 다 가서 다 유예제 남자 도듯이 되니 데려 주기요.
So I will say a few lines related with observer and subject and object from Buddhist point of view.
다 this 되니 유기 걸라더니 가서 되니 다 제라마도 돼봐 톨더니 기시 탑이 뭐 손스 되니 유진 걸다 제라마 얘기더니 유진 대설치 도듯이 주기 있어.
So about the object from especially Vipassika point of view, Geshe Thapkila talked a lot about it. So today I will say a few lines related with the concept of subject from Vipassika's point of view.
유젠데 드니 다 가서 변하면서 수통에 유젠데 그 가르에서도 왔더니 제라마에 드니 다 아니 왕보 수신 송도 된 저에는 가는 송도서는 되니 미기 송남 통된제 내라 때문에 남심이서 강시 말도 줘봐 아니 어디 된데시더니 마다 송해서.
So according to Vipassika, especially in the text called Abhidharma, they said that the eye sense faculty or the eye organ is the primary observer that sees the physical object, and it's not the consciousness that sees the object.
왕보 수진바데 다 간에서 송도선더니 미기 왕보 삶에 도라지더니 디나시다 소소소 어몽아갈 자리에 되냐 다나 두세 민도 되니 다 다나 미 왕보 지부 다 입지 되려지 송요스.
And then when we talk about the eye sense faculty, they talk about the shape of that sense faculty. They talk about something like a cumin seed. And likewise, all the physical entities of our sense faculties has a similar kind of description.
이나야더니 다 도대반에 송되더니 다디 왕보 수진바되기더니 율통선 지금 말씀드린 막 가봐 몽송이랬어.
So, but other schools of thoughts like Sotantika, so they reject this kind of idea, and they says that if you said that the physical eye faculty is responsible for observing or seeing the physical object, then that is a contradiction. And they said that it has to be the consciousness that is actually seeing the object. So then the third school, what we call the mind-only school. So they said that when we they talk about this subject and objective phenomena, they said that there's no physical object at all. It is only the representation of the subjective mind. To prove that kind of statement, they make a quotation from one of the teachings of the Buddha himself, where he said that, "Oh, my sons or disciples, everything that is out there in the physical world is a mere reflection of your own mind." So even in Madhyamika or the middle philosophy, there are many quotations and many examples of how mind is the most important one, and how the physical objects are merely a kind of a reflection of the mind itself. Chandragiri, and one of the 7th century Indian scholar. He made a very important kind of quote where he said that
추발롱라 이다 나로 양사.
so even for one stream of river, different sentient beings will observe it in different ways.
다 디치데 마르베 김제 간데 차고 됐습니다. 추 룹소나 추디 치럴 된도 룹소나 되니 좋아 간가라 되니 추난고 되나 나 좋아 가실 추 만나 왔더니 나타라서 나 영도 스테인데 치데 마르베 아니 김센스나 레페스 디차그레스.
For one physical object like a river, for some sentient beings it looks like a blood, and for another it's just a river, and some it may appear a different phenomena. So from this kind of quotations, it shows that there's no real existence of the physical object. If there's a real existence of something as a water, then it has to appear as water, no matter whoever is observing on that physical object.
디레자 빼 레라와다 세리기 돈이다. 제슈바이나 가도스나더니 다 가랑소더니 변화 메도실 따와도서 가도 간소기 가도 통야다. 드니 소샤 가서 공함 부당마 부당마게 되니 가도 통당되더니 원서 세리 주게더니 다시 통당 가도 쓰시데 말아 통고도 어디 되더니 간소기 통에 가도 대하라 연하더니 니 소자 봉화되라 대하라 통고더니 통고미도 되는데 겸전되라 되나요? 드니 가서 다 지대 마주 봤더니 되게 가도 대치로 유도 마주 봐지 된도도 정해졌어.
For this particular concept, I can even give an example from a scientific point of view. In science, we say that when we look at a flower, how it appears to you is different when a honeybee looks at it. So this shows that there's no, for example, even for especially for color, there's no real real intrinsically existing color onto that flower, and because of that, that flower appears differently to us and to other sentient beings like honeybee.
드니 두세 바제 사연에서 내인데 나 다마 조dom되라 드니 먼저 다 셈이 나와서 돼 가랑선 남진 미셀 드니 다디 셈잠에 따와서 말아 다디 간소기 드니 다 라렌체나 드니
So finally, I would like to talk about a few lines about why and how this scientist or the mind-only view of the reality is very important for our daily practices.
가서 세리 이야기 조단 따와나 싸니 가서 건가다 대화 견장 동안 맞은 거에서 예를 들이나 다 나가몰 대상 다 메딘 소드니 가서 다 셈자 마와다 되니 당가서 단다 인제 디프레션에 나서 나야 다 뭐뭐요 시기도 네 근데 다 딘조 가려서 가서 되게 다디 스타트업이 가리고 그래서 가서 다 셈자마다 이나래더니 막 가서 낭배 슝내 송배더니 가서 낭셈 되니 다 곰스나래 되니 셈 주왔당 그래서 간다 치료율 가서 주왔당 저 말에 낭셈 저래서 네 주왔당 소나 되니 가서 동아사이드 저 되니 낭셈을 되니 연구를 셈 따서를 되니 네, 근데 다 가서 다 가서 아니 셈삼바이나래 낭배 슝 라서 다 지난 대지고 말이다 스페셜 다 치료 못해 봐 수이 슝이네 다디 개참 되게
So from our experience, we know that no matter how far the scientific development has happened, and no matter how far we have materialistic achievements we have met in the history of mankind, we know that many of problems, they don't go away with this kind of developments. It's obvious that there are like almost like more problems related with these kind of things. For example, the depression, so if you give kind of more focus on your mind and subjective experiences more than what is out there in the physical world, then naturally it will lead you to a kind of a better state of mind, and through that way you these practices that is mentioned in mind-only school and also other Buddhist schools will help you deal with this kind of daily problems.
도세 상황에서 대인데 단 대왕 주대 도시에서 막
So my time is up, so thank you.
I just had a few comments based on what was just said and also the questions that came up earlier. This idea that seems to have been reiterated over and over again, that especially in Buddhism, that things don't have any intrinsic nature. I think it's, and also in my talk and others have already mentioned that in quantum mechanics, there is a way in which quantum states are also, like quantum objects are also talked about in the same way, that they don't have intrinsic nature until observed. But I think it should be pointed out that in quantum mechanics that is not a settled question. That it is a matter of great debate, and we'll learn tomorrow when we look at different interpretations that there are ways in which you can think about the quantum world where quantum objects have intrinsic properties and we just discover them. So just to be clear, while some of the ways in which we speak about quantum mechanics seems to suggest a parallelism to Buddhist thinking, I think in quantum mechanics that's not a settled question yet.
samju juice chaza ane gelang khorang ge thanda ke je sheware tinanshi dingol la tamshi dinzu knanglo nyen de du chambala nangju knanglo la ane obu khaya ane rangshin ki madu bares dembar madu bares ya di ane bet nenga chimbu shiuche che ane asungdi dus tiga nashi ane ta ke je shedan chi thone ane chedu ngom rigbe ki nanglo la ya ane chedu ki ane ngobu dinzo ane rangshin ki madu ba rangone madu ba de ki ane tumung ki ke je shedan chi yosare samya ki ane ta khwa de ni le yungu yores chana da di seo so go ji khares la bin na chedu ngom rigbe ki nanglo la ta che chibe ki tumre de le te yungu chambal la tumre di ane khandes yungu yores se ki ane keja dik thela deshi gyada mangbu yores deshi gyada mangbu yebe nanglo ne deshi gyadan chi kharshi gi yores lavin bena yu di kerang ge toshi majung we ki ngaro na ani yomares demba to chi gyan yomares toshi chung sabe jela ani shine kera ani demba to cha yungu yores ya ki ta ya ki nang yungu yores ya chi deshi gyadan yores cheda dik chedan chebe bena ani yu demba madu ba yores yu demba to yomares si yores cheda da di nang chu ki deshi gyadan chi ba cha ore ni na ya di ngam rikba changme ki kelin ki ane deshi gyadan chi mares deshi gyadan mangbu yore khashi kharji yors nagi yors la bimena takshi majibe ki ngla yu demba tubo yores ta sukdop ki yu yor de ni bena ya keran ki ane hingi yomares ta dil takchi che sabe jela ane tumre ya thyu yu zambala ane keran ki an nangula shine kharna wa di thong yungo yor de ne keran ki ha mawo ki ngla yu demba tubo yores ni yore che ta deshi mangbu yores deshi mangbu yuzu dunzo ane sani do ane keja yungures.
I think the reality is absolute, because what I can say is that, for example, let me cite an example. Suppose I am drinking a glass of water, and the reality is that I am drinking water, and there are many people who are observing me, and there are few who are not observing me. So for those who are not observing me, for them the observation is different, and for those group of people who are observing me, those observations are different. So here we can see that the observations are two different things for different peoples. I mean the two different group, and for those two groups the observations seems different. And another group may see me drinking a cup of tea. Actually, I have a glass of water, and from the far they may conclude that he is drinking a cup of water or tea. That means, but the reality is that I drank water. So I want to say that I'm just asking question is that I think the reality is absolute or not.
The theory can ane demba se jorwas demba se di ane tsuktup ching ma to ane demba se di ane yujing ki ane nangchun gewa drovil gimsen ten demba gyo dru yore se dinde ane samgu mindus nge ki ane chuch tung de yona nge ramna de nge dinzu nga chutung yore se gi gires 타 링보 네 따디니 찌 칼라그레스라비나 코치시는 자둥구 요기레스 이나야 자코가 자둥구 요레스야디 라네레 통네레 니그 추동에 딘 줄고 말왔어 추동도 요르왔어 자자 딜라도 잠발라 아니 콘주가 나올라 칸낭밀 마데바 아니 뎀바디 뎀바레스 자자 뎀바세 딘 교드레 요 마리삼 구두스 자자 티와드 카니 이슬라빈베나 아니 딜레베스타
데 다디 추레사야 된 가서 다디 렌 가리 잡아서 미낭올라 추랑 레들 다디 커피 통 되는 거 노래 미낭올 시와이나 이나 다 도와 셴바서 가서 단다베 도와 셴바서 가서 통통 일도 요 말데 당연히 빼셔야 돼 세리 빼셔야 돼 도데 가래서 이다사야 다 야와사야 돼 소된 라이 두지 통을 해서 디니 이다 나도 통을 해서야 돼 소당 가서 통통 일도 마저 인도스네 대세자 가버려 네 당연히 메도 가서 메도 카도들 빼셔고 김선대요 디레스
Yes, at the conventional level, since we all are human beings, so something that is water to us should be water to every one of us. But in my example, when I say other sentient beings, I'm not talking about other human beings. So in the text, what we call, we believe in other sentient beings living in other realms. So for example, when we talk about another realm called Hungry Ghost realm, so for them, if what we call, all the humans call as water, it may be appears to something like a blood for them. And then we have other realms where we call like God realm, heavenly realms. So for them, it's not the water, maybe nectar or something else. So and when we talk about these different realms, then maybe it's a little bit kind of a Buddhist thing. So because of that, I gave this scientific example where when we are looking at this one particular flower, it appears differently to us. So that's what the science says.
단다 ngasuki keje shiyon tani ani chik nisila ko jura ndo keje ji shigyo amres ine nangsila tangso penang ngso nangchuni shiyon tani ka semju thadiba wangi dini digi jige korangi nang karsa nangtang jig chugi nangsile yang jig domira thadi chi nangde yores tana singi penna korangi jig korangi apala tatang do pena korangi apala tadi ngarta giri apa do thongiris ina dadung korangi apa digi teni korangi apala tani kare apa thongiri digi mal tani bu thongiris tende ji tatang nangsugi nangsang gasa nangsilla kunnisilla gari in mashne gasa jig jura dogi redam mare kandi keje mashne jig nangsilla nangsu jig tendilamne dagang tar tende ji da ko chijin tinangdo modobo tende ji da pe thoneng so rati tukiris.
So what we are really talking about here is mainly about the appearance part. So because of the different mental dispositions of all the sentient beings, when we look at one thing, it appears differently to us. But if you talk about what is the reality, then it could be a different issue and at a different level. So here, when we talk about this river appearing as a blood or as a water, we are talking about how one reality appears differently to different sentient beings. I will give you another example. When you look at your father, you see as a father, but your father, when he look at you, he will look at you as his son. And for his father, your grandfather, your father is his son, not his father. So through that way, we have a different one thing can have different appearances or different aspects that can manifest into different things for different individuals.
Before I ask to the questions, I want to make clear one thing is the Genla giving example of the mental perception is like honeybee can see the different colors. It's a little different because in scientific point of view is because they detect different frequency or different wavelength. But we have a still question is why we detect some different wavelength that other other animals can detect something else, or maybe longer or short. That's, I mean, still questions. I mean, it's not exactly same that hungry goat can see some water, blood. It's not exactly same, but there's some differences. Okay, that's my sort of comment. Then my question is goes to the Anil, right? Okay, so when you giving to the experiment that when we put the beam slit, the second beam slit, which make to confuse the which pathway you take to the particles, that, you know, when we kind of don't know which path the take is, then will show up, looks like web nature, right? Because all the things happen, can see on the detector too, right? That means something happened, or in, some kind of destructive interference or constructive interference happening, right? But my question is, you mentioned about the John Wheeler or something, they experiment did of the delay choice, which is, you know, after the, you know, after the took the path, right before the, you know, the second detector live out, or it's put just, you know, there, and then they did, right? But my question is, how about the, before reach to the second detectors, if we take back to the first detector, because then there's no way to go, you know, going backward time. So is there any possible to, when they just, after the, right after the shoot to the pass from the first beam slitters, what happened if we beam slitter took away?
I'm not sure anyone has done that experiment, or but my.
당부 딜랑에 디 송이 공기 단당 안주 빼데 정부 빼지 잡으러 다 정부 빼지 자도 양 콘조 직 체력 발라 투기야 직 가리 연구에서나 체력 버쪽에 빼나 번구 통야 당 나란주 도와 미기 통야 천도 로가리시디 노부 직디 배 로가 통바랑 지기 말에 양 콘조 가르시 그랬으나 비기 되네 랍다시 주고 여봐 왜 주도디 디 랍다 민다치 때스 미글 주고 여레시 거래 디 인디 장랑 안주 단다 최담제 심기 다니 저랑 단다 빼자서데 저 직내 통나 민다와디 충고 여르디 야 자자 충고 말레스 그 민다에 차지 가려서는 안주 노부직 랑라야 통주 민다와 닝모직 있네 타데질 토마토버스 거와 디세시 주시니 다 니바델랑에 가르티버스나 당기 갱 디스기도와 당아란주 단다 디 안에 두이직 땅에 투제지 샤고 여레스 투제 디샤네 비기네 랑가 니 샤온도 장래 랑가 디네 자정압주 도와다 디네 자정압주 도와체네 투제 당보디 지고 샤나 만조 체가 도와데 하고 그랬어 다 디네 투제 니버디 주은도 장래야 가르치고 그랬으나 투 랑가 칸에 요마연데 하고 먹어 차도도 하 먹어 차도도 장래 랍그란 신디 땡고 그랬어 하 코아 차연도 장래 두그란 신디 땡고 그랬어 딜라 건조 딱제 치도 아니 딱제 치야 당보디 다 당보네 뭐 전차도 뒤차차로 뒤차차베 소리지레샤 지도 장라 다 당보네 로차도 베코라 뒤치긴 인세 랑가디나네 타제네 레차도 딱제 치야 니바디 쪼고 연데 장라 홉즈갈로 쪼바이나 디 카고 슈지레스 이네 제요레스 디 쪼그네레 다른 가르치고 그래서나 랍그란 신도네 자자 자탐보 쇼직 베게 딱제 치서 니바디나를 치니 찍라베 레고 차도 그러시도 가르서나 랍디 제 야나 랍디 파츠 세치야 지요레 랍라 디치 거르시도 당에 티와 가르티버스나 다 직전에 건조 대시에 가르스나 니바 투제 니바도 좋은데 뒤디 양자야 칠러러시 잡제 즉 뒤즈 전에 접식도 잡제 넘버 로가 때문에 더시도 디지도 다 투제 당보 당서 지어와 투제 당보네 땅차와다가 니바 말리 코네 투제 당보도 매워 소시하네 고야 로사 매베 소리 써바이나 가르치 그랬어 다 티와드네 더지 건다.
So I don't think it should matter at all. I can confirm that with the quantum physicists later, but I think if you take out the first beam splitter after the photon has passed the first beam splitter, it shouldn't have any effect on what happens. What happens depends on whether you put the second beam splitter in or not. Howard, would you say that? Yeah. Yeah. So that's we're getting confirmation from our quantum physicists on. No, but it has gone through the first one. The question is, it's gone through the first one, and
So
then before it hits the second beam splitter, you actually take out the first one. It shouldn't matter. The interaction is over. The causal effect is done.
So it's already determinant.
It's yeah. So the effect of the first beam splitter on the photon is already already done. It split the wave function into two.
So then how the make difference when you put the second detectors, second beam splitters?
Because if you look at the all of this creates problems when you think classically. If you just think of it mathematically as the wave function is already split and it's going towards the second beam splitter, right? At the point where the second beam splitter is supposed to be there or not there, then either the wave functions combine or they don't, right? If you think of it like that, none of this is a problem. But which also means that you have to think of it as the photon not having any intrinsic nature before you put the second beam splitter or remove the second beam splitter, right? The first one, the interaction is already done. So if you take that out, it shouldn't have any effect.
Sujung samlo dang 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 che ane du di tanda nganzu central rechi se sto dene ma thangbo theme kapsla ane ko yamena lab ki namgyu chinsare yamena ane du ki namgyu chinsare se ya thakchu chemi mena an tanji she de ya kangi dinzo the yung yores cheza yene ma tundu thembe imbenere ane central rechi se ya splitters e dine thangbo ni thembe inare nimban thembe imbena khadu thembe na ko ane pek nanglo la churche se ya dik nanglo male ki phardula ane khora lab reda se ya da du reda se ya dinde ke ane khora labdu kharung ke ane thanda cheju yomares nambang yomares ni khangya ruwa chik chala seshi ngo le de yore se kan deshi jagan de jab imbena ane kangya yomares di maja che ko yene ma thuen sadu sambala thangbo takji thangbo nanglo la du nam gyu thung yorwa ta du nam gyu de thembe gimzen te ne ane sendureje thangbo thundu ko du imba da thachi ne thunle reslana tan thama de la imba du du sambal yang kongyama thakju che sawa dila ane gewa cha ru do was keza dinde ane keje she di ane samnu dang dik thon tang bim bena ane kange thig yo di tung yores.
So far my knowledge is concerned about quantum physics and quantum mechanics. For the last 1 month we have a workshop down there. It was really very fascinating, very interesting. But my knowledge is still, I am a baby about quantum physics, and I wanted to know that maybe there are many people out there, they don't know that these kind of quantum physics explanations, double slit, and many quantum systems, these seems to be very interesting. But now, it started maybe 30, 40 years before.
100 years.
100 years before. Now I think so. I have no knowledge about it. I wanted to know that always doing some sort of experiment that way, but you might have invented many things which are beneficial to many human beings. It is already beneficial to many peoples. Now why don't you tell us then such for the last 100 years they made this invention, which are so beneficial to human beings. And that way, if you explain a little bit, then everybody can easily understand that. Otherwise, that kind of slate diagram seems very interesting, but still doing the experiment and no result, no invention, seems like that for my knowledge. So please kindly, what kind of inventions which were invented for the last 100 years?
Kimbula suya ta sedung ngom ribi globze de zo jita khasang yamang zo ta jangbo de thanda shira shingi me tegana shi ta de keje shi de zo nyembe be na ta be de ningyo da shu dus yimbe na ya dus ningyo yo sam digmi do ta sedung ngom rek ba thane lo jas chindo dik nang lo sedung ngom rek ba shel shan sar du kharchi yore mil phen to ya chala khar kar so yore se din zo she yimbe na ane min zo lo phab do yung sa re kin zo khar so she yes ta shows.
It's a very good question. Basically, I think we were talking about it yesterday, that quantum mechanics came about because we wanted to understand the structure of an atom, right? How atom being the constituent, matter is made of atoms, and we wanted to understand how light interacts with matter, and quantum mechanics came about because something about the classical view of the world was not making sense. So when quantum mechanics came, it started explaining how atoms function, and from that we understood how, understood molecules, macromolecules, materials, and everything that you see around right now. Like all of you have a smartphone. this would not work if we did not understand quantum mechanics, right? Everything inside it is built because we understand how atoms, molecules work, how electrons behave, right? So in terms of what benefit quantum mechanics has had on the world, everything. Like when you go into a fMRI machine, if you have had a stroke, if you had if your brain is being scanned inside an fMRI machine, that machine works because, we understand quantum mechanics. So there's a lot of medical inventions, technological inventions, computers, the cameras that are filming us, the electronics that is transmitting my voice to you, none of this would be working if we didn't understand quantum mechanics. So it is a science that underlies every aspect of technology that we are using today.
Sardu Karchisha Yus, Lavimida Yoris, Huchi Yoris. 제가 제등원감 리버스에 간디시 타르버리스 라미베나 카상한 이 시원나시 아니 둔텐기 남샤다 아니 둔텐다 왜 대화치당 콜랑한 중에마 아니 도스지 딱지 제용도 삼발라 로갸스키 응라 아니 갑티 투스 예베케 남샤 된주게 셰마토비아케 니주 망보 시우지 총체 아니 타마 아니 제등원감 리버스에 디 사르도 총레스 제자다 제등원감 리버스에 디 아니 둔텐기 도당 된주 아니 니수 시에 체도 사르도스 디셴베 금전 둔텐기 도당 약보 시행도 삼발라 둔텐기 오부든조 매터스 도 삼발 뱀제든조 상마 뱀속든조 상마 둔텐기 토바로와스 제장도 뱀속든조 내주 약보 시행이어레스 제자다 군주기 내가 제단 약보 시행도 삼발라 땅안주기 아니 록시 망보 시우지 쇠도와스 계란조 데 도스티도 삼발라 간조 단다 표주 제대야 카와든조 상마 아니 제등금 렉바 약보 고추 매베 맨나 요 말레스 대한하신 고 차자 되어야 되는데 레벨 견셔야 되는데 윤주 삼발라 탄다 안에 카블링 탄다 록제직 năng 고야 유지 빠르게 록빠르게 시도 제가 안에 된소 연구요 말레스 빠르게 탄다 안에 가지고 탄다 빠르게 된소다 다 대한하신 안에 직 등상 파주 안에 대화체 그 추리 컨디션 뱀뱀나 안에 된소 상마 안에 제등금 리베 내주디 약보 신비 그 겸전을 때니 가지고 배주 약보 체토베 차되어서 제가 디마신 뱀뱀나 요 말레스
Just one more addition. I think, in the future, as we move towards understanding the quantum world more and more, we've mentioned qubits. So this is going to lead to quantum computers and quantum communication. Right now, the communication that is happening through the electronics is classical communication. Even though the technology is built on our understanding of quantum mechanics, the principles of communications are still classical. So we're moving towards communication that itself is going to be based on quantum mechanics and also quantum computation, which is just going to change, at least in principle, it seems like it will change the scale and speed and at which we will be able to do computation, and the computers will be far, far more powerful than we know now.
제자다 단대기 간주 그 로제 망부직 아니에 세등금 리베케 샤치 소레스 라스와스 이나 단다 임베나야 로제 된주 균네 파조 간주 내주 땅데야 된주 계제시에 그다다 내주 땅데야 된주 단다 임베나 단지 아니 빛세 내주 찍다니세 수준기 내주 땅땅 돈 땅기요레스 제자다 단다 간주 가르시기요레스 라비메다 단지 큐빗 난주 잠발라 아니 세등금 리베케 아니 리포 도나 딜 시샤치 파 내주 땅야 된데 계제시기요레스 제자 디 소토 임베나 아니 지가 컴퓨터 된주 클레가 단다 디마임베 징안주 니주 파조 땅 토비아 된주 그 뉴르제 그 차니 임베네레 대한나시 아니 레가 체 토비아 그 뉴버 그 차니 그 임베나 항상 그 아니 버든 그 침부 두레스
Go.
Just a short one. So I am like a scientist in the Center for Quantum Dynamics. So our goal is to try to understand these quantum mechanics more and then try to build, the future technology. So yes, our work.
제자다 나랑게 레가 치시 그 세리 때는 칸 디크 나로라 아니 제둥은 컴 릭베 계획받든조 아니 배주 제제 아니 주제든조 로제든조 단다 아니 소야기 아니 탑시 지기요레 제자 몽발 파조 아니 대화 제야든조 아니 도로 땅야다 아니 대화 망로 치토베기 아니 미유 드니심기요레스
You have a question out there? Yeah.
Yes, I have the questions for the monks. Like, in the morning also, they were saying that like everything is like illusion. Nothing is real in this world. What we see is not the thing that we see. That they are saying that they are refusing that there is not a reality. are you refusing like there is nothing real, or is it like in your perspective, in your realms or some like in your Buddhist laws or like that? Is there anything like, for me the reality is like physics in atoms. I know it's real. For me it's reality, but for you, you are refusing that it's not reality. The water bottle, it's not the water bottle. You are saying like that. So for you, what is reality? I want to ask that question.
Tiwadi kushala solista tanji ki keje shetan te benere thana shugi ki keje te tadan te benere changme ki ani kharshi dosla bena uyuni ju se ji yo mares karen thon dewa dinjo changma ani tunang res dini si dos tangarang ki dos te indi samban khare yo khare demba imba dene ngom seri shesha gyu ki tunjen se dinjo ngoni reshas demba reshas ngom seri demba reshas jesa da kiran ju ki nangchu ki nanglor shigi nere khande ton shigi ne kiran ju keje se shetan te bena demba se ji da uyuni ju se ji yo mares sigi yo bes.
We are not saying that way. We say according to, there is two truths, conventional truth and ultimate truth. Conventionally, all these are very much there. We are not denying that. For example, water. For us, water is to quench our thirst. Whereas to the many beings are there who are living inside the water, they never think that this is for to quench their thirst. But the water is their home. So mind says that way. We are not denying anything that way, but only thing is that, for example, when we give the name some sort of, this is the glass, but glass, who knows when I say glass? Those people who knows English, they know it. But to those people who don't know English, they never know. Even if the glass is in front of them, they can't, oh, what is glass? It's in front of them, but they don't know it. So according to conventional truth, everything is very much there. We are not denying that. Well, only thing is that if you go deeply into that, for example, I said many times, oh, now this glass, when I say how many glasses are there in front of me, there is only one. The answer is one. But how come one? There are billions and billions of particles are there together. But that billions, you say this is one. So that way, what we mean to say is there is something illusion. The science or the physics also, they say that there are many illusions. When there's only 3 colors, for the last 1 month we learned something like that, proton or something like neutron, electron, 3 colors are there. When these were joined together, another color comes. For example, those people who are caught by the yellow fever, for example, and he don't know that he was caught by the yellow fever, but he went to the shop and he wanted to buy a white paper chart. And he says, please give me white paper. And the shopkeeper gave him the white paper. He says, no, I want white. This is yellow, he said. What's wrong there? The white is white. But he don't know this. Therefore, according to Buddhist point of view, we divide into 2 major divisions. Conventionally, relatively, we are here, I'm talking, you are listening. It is very much there. We are not saying everything is empty. Don't worry about that.
Takimulak suya ding yanzu yo mare sidu zambal kiran sangma ane dus ni dindel yo mare spod yo mare kiran yo mare nga yo mare simes chiza ane nganzu yo re da mare keje sidu zambal khadi imbena ane dembani se yawa chigres chandam se chigda ane kunjup se ta kunjup keje si indu zambal yo rescue da nga sangma yo res imbena ane ta yo mare se di nganzu chandam ne kabl keje sigyus kezan kiran ke tewana shi da nganzu kun thona shi di ane me lug metan ke ne ju sigyus chiza da tewana shi ane chuk pol da dinzul pes shan sonso